Welcome to Top Chef University. I'm Spike from Top Chef Chicago. Our second course is all about the foundations of cooking, and in this lesson, we're making vinaigrettes. Vinaigrettes are the best way to bring a salad to life. We're going to teach you how to make a simple vinaigrette, how to create an emulsion, and what you can do to build on these simple techniques. No more bottle dressings for you, my friend. Vinaigrette is simple to make once you get the proportions right. A classic vinaigrette has 3-to-1 ratio of oil to vinegar. Once you know this, you are on your way to becoming an expert. So let's start by making a classic French vinaigrette. So you're going to need a couple things here. First and foremost, we have this famous little trick here that we're going to twirl around a little nest of towel here just to make everything really sturdy. So if you can see that, look at that, just like that. We're going to set our bowl, our salad bowl in there, and you can see after we're going to whisk, it's not going to move around. It's nice and sturdy. A whisk, of course, and then all the ingredients. So we're going to start off with, you always want to start off with the acid because that's what a vinaigrette is all about. It's about that extra little punch, that wow factor. You know, you can use it to dress salads or meats or whatever. So, but you really want it to have a nice little punch. So we're going to measure 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. Beautiful. And then we're going to add some aromatics in here. So let's add a crushed garlic clove. So we're going to let that macerate in there. Squish that up really nicely in there and just whisk it around just a little bit just to get that flavor kind of just going and working. We're going to add a little bit of sugar just to balance out all the acid that we have in it. So we'll start off with, well, we'll add the whole thing. Why not? There you go. Just whisk that out. You want to dissolve the sugar just by whisking it. I can already smell that garlic infusing into that vinegar. That's what we want. And then one of the most important things is this mustard. It's going to add a lot of flavor, but more importantly, it's going to emulsify this whole thing because that's what we're really making. It's an emulsification. So, boom, a little bit of Dijon mustard. And we'll make sure we mix that all around too. And then we're pretty much ready to make our oil. As you can see here, see it's already kind of emulsifying and bringing it together. It's making it a little bit thicker. You always want to taste in between stages too. So we're going to take this spoon. That's pretty much, that's kind of where we want it. We're going to add a little salt to get those flavors. I can taste that garlic. That's what I love about it. A little black pepper. Why not? Again, we can re-season afterwards. So as I showed you before, we did 1/4 cup vinegar. So it's time to do 3/4 cup oil. And I think we're right about there. Does that look like 3/4 cup? Yes. So you slowly want to emulsify the oil into the vinegar because you don't want to end up with a broken vinaigrette. That's not what we're trying to do. So very slowly pour this in. And as you can see, it's going to come together. You want to whisk vigorously. There we go. I can smell the aroma of the garlic, the vinegar. And again, these are just the basic tools to making a basic vinaigrette. I mean, it is a standard 3-to-1 ratio, but you know, if you like a little bit more acid in your vinaigrette, you can add, you know, you can go 2-to-1 if you really wanted to. But this is a basic one. We're gonna get the rest of that oil in there. And again, this is how Grandma made her vinaigrette. Very, you know, very raw materials here. Whisk, a bowl. Should probably use the fork actually. Put that garlic that escaped, and look, you have that beautiful emulsification. Let me show you with a spoon. This is kind of called a nappe. See how it just kind of coats the back of a spoon? Then we want to taste it to see where we're at. It's really, really good, but you know, it's just a little flat. So we're gonna, you know, we got a little trick. We're gonna get some really bright acid flavor, and we're just gonna take a little bit of lemon. What I love doing with the lemon is just cutting off the edges just like that, because there's no seeds, and it allows you just to squeeze a perfect little drop of lemon in there. Boom. I think this is where we want it to be. Let's taste it. Yes, that did it. That brought it all together. It's popping. Those flavors are in my mouth. This is delicious. Okay, well, this is our basic French vinaigrette. Let's move on to something a little bit more challenging. And we're going to make a warm vinaigrette. It's pretty much using the same basic ratios maybe a little less, and have some fun with it. So here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to heat up a pan, nice saute pan, to very low heat. We're going to take this red onion, and we're going to dice it. We don't need the whole red onion, so we'll just discard half of it. Peel this away. Warm vinaigrettes are great if you're making, if you want to poach an egg and have some lardons in a salad. You can make a really mustardy warm vinaigrette and toss it all together. They're just really delicious. If you're searing a piece of duck maybe and you're slicing it, a warm vinaigrette just to top it off to accentuate the flavor is really great. Again, we're going to do dicing, so we're going to go across here very evenly. And then we're going to make 2 cuts into the onion. One on the bottom, and watch out your hands. You just want to use the palm of your hand, and one on top. And then slowly come across, just like that, and you have these beautiful little dices. Nice. This takes time, so don't be in a rush. I think that's enough. So we're going to take this onion, put it in the pan. There's a dry pan because what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this balsamic vinegar that we have. That's really a reduced and very strong vinegar. So I think we're going to switch the ratio up a little bit to more like 2 to 1. Here we go. We're going to season these onions a little bit. You always want to season. Turn up the heat. And now we're going to measure out, let's say maybe, we'll go again with a 1/4 cup. That's right. There we go. Look how beautiful. It's going to really turn this into a bright red color and get those onions going. You also want to add a little bit of garlic. I'm going to crush that sucker up. I love doing that. A little bit of mustard. So pretty much using the same ingredients as the French one, just added onions. And again, this is going to be called, we like to call this a broken vinaigrette. It's really not going to be emulsification because we're adding a lot of heat to it. So there we go. Move that around a little bit. Make sure you get it all. And you know what? Again, like it's just a canvas. Vinaigrettes, 3 to 1 ratio is it's just a starter. You're supposed to really own your own vinaigrette. Be a little bit innovative. So you know what we're going to do? We've got all these beautiful herbs over here. They're going to add a little earthiness to with some thyme. And you can see it's already starting to boil. It's already starting to develop these really complex flavors. It's starting to caramelize on the edges. I just added the herbs. I can really, really smell those, so that's delicious. all you need for this is a mason jar. This is my favorite way to make a vinaigrette. We're going to use the same basic ratio that we used earlier, which is 3 to 1. We're going to add a little bit of red wine vinegar. So a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar in the jar. Look at that. This is going to be so much fun. Then we're going to do what we did a little earlier and just squish this garlic. Then we're going to add a little bit of mustard to emulsify, a little bit of sugar, some shallots, and you know what? Like we did earlier, we had a little pop coming here. There's a little trick. We're just going to take the rind off of the lemon, and then when we're shaking it all up, it should do the same kind of job that it did earlier when we just squeezed some lemon juice in there. So we'll do that. And now we used a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. We're going to do 3/4 of a cup of oil. All right. Just going to pour that in like that. You know, we have these beautiful herbs out here. We're going to use some of these. Why not? Like some chives. Why not? Just a little bundle of chives. We'll cut them really small. Just like that. There you go. Maybe about a tablespoon of chives after it's all said and done. Put that in the jar, or mix the whole entire jar and put it on the cutting board. We'll add a little bit of salt, pinch of salt, a little bit of pepper. Put the cap back on. Let it just sit there for 1 second while we clean up our cutting board. You always want to work really neatly. There you go. And now it's fun time. Just got it in there, make sure the lid's on tight. And we are emulsifying. You can get a really great workout too, you know? You want to skip the gym? Go ahead, skip the gym. Just make sure it's all, look at that. How much fun is that? You can really seriously just package this and sell it now. Spike's mason jar vinaigrette, right there. So yes, this is a vinaigrette in a mason jar. A lot of fun to do. But you know, if you're a prima donna and you think you're too cool for the mason jar, you can always use your trusty blender here. So pretty much just take the cap off and do exactly what we did, you know, with the mason jar. Just put all your ingredients in here, season it, and just pulse it a couple times, and you'll have your vinaigrette. So again, I mean, we've shown you the basic techniques for vinaigrettes. You know, from the classic French one to the broken warm vinaigrette to the one in the mason jar. It's really all up to you to be really, really creative and just have fun with it. Remember, it's all about having fun. You got the ratios, you know, switch ingredients in or out, and just make a really tasty vinaigrette. So in our next lesson, we're going to show you how to make mayonnaise.